In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to configure a test request in AppyPie API test. Before anything else, make sure your authentication is set up correctly. AppyPie supports methods like OAuth2, API key, and basic auth, and your test will only work if credentials are valid. In OAuth2, confirm the authorization URL, token URL, scopes, client ID, client secret, and redirect URI. For API key setups, provide a field for the key and consider a simple verification endpoint like a profile or status check. Use the test authentication button to confirm everything is authorized. If authentication fails here, your test request will also fail later. Next, decide whether you're building a trigger or an action. A trigger lets AppyPie detect new or changed data, often by polling or receiving webhooks. An action performs an operation in your system, like creating or updating a record through your API. Choose Add Trigger or Add Action based on your integration's goal. If your trigger or action requires user input, open the Input Designer. Add fields that match your API's parameters, including the key your API expects, the data type, and helpful labels or placeholders. If you need dynamic dropdowns, such as a list of projects from your API, configure a background call to fetch and present those options so users can select from live data. Now configure the API request itself. Set the endpoint URL your API listens to, choose the correct HTTP method, and add required headers such as authorization and content type. Include any query strings or URL parameters as needed. For methods that send data, map your input fields into the request body, for example using placeholders like bundle.inputData.field_name, so the values submitted by the user flow into the payload. If the interface offers advanced options, open them to manage headers and parameters precisely. When everything looks right, run the test. Click the test button in your editor to execute the call with real credentials. AppyPie will show you the raw JSON response or an error. If you see an error code like 400, 401, or 403, check your endpoint, method, headers, and body format and confirm credentials and scopes are correct. After a successful test, define the output fields. Review the JSON response and select the keys you want to expose to downstream steps. Give each field a clear, user-friendly label, reorder them if needed, and save your mapping. If you run into trouble, double-check the endpoint, method, and headers, and always test with valid, real credentials. That's it. You've configured and tested an API request in AppyPie.